Hey y'all, I've decided instead of a complicated instructions document you'd have to read for this relatively simple work, I'd make a screen recording and a simpler accompanying document. Every week, y'all will need to text me if you can edit a sermon for that week. If more than 4 people text me that they can, you may not need to transcribe anything that week unless I have an extra past sermon to give you, which I may, so don't be surprised either way. I'll put that into a spreadsheet and figure out what sermons to give to who. If you want to help that week, but you don't have a lot of time, let me know, and I can give you a shorter sermon like Wednesday night, which are often significantly less long than Sunday sermons. The first step for transcriptions is to download the file you'll receive via email or Signal or whatever communication method you want to use. Once downloaded, open it up in a text editor. You don't need Microsoft Word, just whatever built-in text editor your computer uses. If you're on Windows, I like notepads, personally, as opposed to the built-in Windows Notepad. It has some extra features that I particularly like, and I'll get into that a little bit more later. You may notice that text runs off the editor. Most editors have a text wrapping function, and you can turn that on to keep the text a little more manageable. Do not, however, add a paragraph to make the text visible. When this becomes a transcript on YouTube, you hitting Enter now will translate into a weird paragraph break in the captioning once it's published on YouTube. You're welcome to add paragraph breaks wherever you see fit, but just know the difference between hitting Enter to break a paragraph and simple text wrapping. I like notepads because it shows you, with the line numbers, where it is just text wrapping the text for your convenience and where it's an actual paragraph break. See here where the text has been wrapped, but it's still within the same sort of line in the editor versus right here where these 2 lines of text are actually on separate lines. You can think of these numbers as paragraphs if you want to. Okay, we need to remove the timestamps. You can remove them as you go, or you can find them all at once before you start proofing. I don't really care. I just haven't found a way to turn them off in the transcription app we use while we're actually recording the sermon, so we're just kind of stuck with them and they're not actually accurate after editing and all. Next up, go through and correct grammar and spelling. Be sure that any punctuation is correct and appropriate, and add punctuation where necessary. Feel free to cut off run-on sentences with a period. I'm not picky about punctuation, and everyone's standards are a little bit different. I just want it to look like a human put thought into it and not like artificial intelligence tried and failed miserably. While editing, capitalize any pronouns referring to God. Be really aware about names. Our transcription software has a really hard time transcribing some of the names of the Bible and has failed miserably in some cases. Also watch out for homonyms such as its versus its with an apostrophe. YouTube has a translation function that I will be using, and English homonyms rarely translate to homonyms in a different language, which is inconvenient, but whatever. For numbers in text, I prefer they be typed out unless they are references or times or dates. Perhaps one number is talking about one subject and another is referring to another subject. In that case, you can make one the digit and the other typed out to make a visual difference between the two if you think such a distinction would actually be helpful to the viewer. Finally, open the instruction document that I sent out and copy the text from the bottom and paste it in the final paragraph at the end of the transcript. Notice the new paragraph right here. Once done, rename the file with _English on the end and send it back to me. If you want to, you can also use the Save As function shown here. I need these by Saturday noon, so I have plenty of time to upload to YouTube, and more emphatically, so that YouTube actually has time to process it. YouTube is notoriously inconsistent with processing times for basically anything. So I want to give it time for that and still have captions up within a week of the sermons being preached. Thank you all so much again for the help, and feel free to contact me with questions or ideas. I'm always open to improving the process and making everyone's lives easier. Thanks again.